Namaste. I'm Dr. Robert, and my subject for this edition of 5-ish Minutes with Dr. Robert is friendship. The Sanskrit word for friendship is maitri, which comes from the word mitra. Mitra means a friend, and that word is applied to a deity who is more or less regarded as a solar deity and almost never is respected on his own. Almost always it's Mitra and Varuna respected together. Varuna is an older deity who represents cosmic rhythm, cosmic balance. He's now mainly focused on being the lord of water and oceans and things like that. But in the past, it was much more a sense of law on the one side and friendship, and therefore not quite the same severity as law on the other side. The law sometimes needs to be severe, but the quality of friendship is something that should always be assisting the severity of the law not to be overly severe. That word mitra has appeared in a number of different contexts in human civilization. For example, the word mitra transmogrified itself into Mithras, who was a solar deity whose cult was very big in the central part of Asia about 2,000 years ago, and some of whose influence has been noted on the development of Christianity. Jesus himself is quoted as saying, no greater love hath any man than this, to lay down his life for his friends. So that's an important part of friendship. It's a very strong bond that is not necessarily related to blood relations or to legal relations. A legal relation is literally a father-in-law, mother-in-law, brother-in-law, sister-in-law. So those are obligations, your blood relations and your legal relations. Friendship is not an obligation. It's something that develops spontaneously between two people, and it can create the kind of bond that we see in wars, for example, where in a particular unit, all of the combatants in that unit, if it's a unit that has good cohesion, they will be literally willing to lay down their lives to protect the other members of the unit, because they know that their fellow members of that unit would lay down their lives for them. So in its highest, most developed form, friendship is something that in many ways transcends that legality and blood, that sort of Varuna structured kind of obligatory relation, and opens the individual to something that is, because it's not an obligation, something that is in some ways much more meaningful, can be much more meaningful and satisfying. Another place where this word mitra appears is in the word maitreya, which means roughly he or she, but it's a masculine noun, he who displays friendship, the implication being in all directions. The Maitreya is the name that has been given to the Buddha who is next to appear on earth, and Vimalananda always said that Maitreya is the ancient rishi from whom two of the greatest avatars of our recent times have emerged, those two being Krishna, Gopala Krishna, and Jesus of Nazareth. So that concept of Maitri is something that is most fundamental, foundational to the way that humans work, because if we had limited ourselves just to clan and relation, we would never have been able to work together to achieve so many of the things we have achieved. And therefore, this is Dr. Robert suggesting that all of us should be very kind to and remember with fondness our friends.